happy to be. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creek, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness glow.
Aw, yeah. It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Beheadings. Oh, yeah, Evil Deadings.
Are you live in the back room or are you live in the movie theater shrine? Where are you live from today?
Home. I don't know.
Woodborough? I caught the main character in this movie mispronouncing Woodsboro in the movie.
I mean,
And that's...
it doesn't matter where the fuck they say they are or where even we are, because it's not relevant really at all to anything going on in the story. But it's of this moment in time, the end of the road for the Scream franchise. That's right, Scream Seeks.
Praise Lord, hallelujah.
Ghostface goes to Manhattan, aka Quebec.
Yes, of course. Why? Why would they ever actually go to Manhattan?
You know how much money it costs to go to New York City, motherfucker? Too damn much.
I do. I do. We can ask the director of Jason Takes Manhattan, and he'll probably tell you it was a hefty penny.
Which I tell you, I had a few moments where I had to pause this movie and just take a minute. Because I watched it for the first time last night. The wife, it's her first rewatch since it was released. Mm-hmm. And my first pause came right during those that our halfway through our opening kills.
Mm-hmm.
Is we have Samara Weaving, who is our Drew Barrymore of this episode. Which I'm like, they're gonna kill Samara Weaving. She kicks everybody's ass. Like, I don't buy this at all. That she would ever go down in a blaze of glory at all. But she's talking to Hispanic Jonah Hill on the phone. Gets killed. He goes back to his place to where his TV is just on. And I had to pause because I heard somebody screaming on the TV. And I was like, I know that pained whimper. And I looked away, I was like, what is that pained whimper? And then I had to hit play and then immediately hit pause again. I was like, that's Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yes.
And they cut
Makes
to
you
it.
wish you were watching a better movie that takes place in Manhattan.
Another guy with a white mask stalking New York, but it's really not New York. And then I was annoyed how much they kept jumping around what's going on. Because I was more invested in where Jason Takes Manhattan was going on the TV. Like, it starts in the opening, then all of a sudden goes to on the boat, and then somewhere else.
They're just cherry picking
weird scenes.
The best scenes.
It's not even like they. If you're gonna cherry pick scenes, you pick the boombox kick, or you pick the shoulder check on the subway.
Oh yeah.
But they don't pick any of those. So I was like, this movie's all out of order. What he's watching, and he just left this shit on.
Well, he's got a roommate, so presumably his roommate was hanging out watching the movie.
Sure.
So,
I'm kind of wondering
that's
if this...
that's the best logic I have is, you don't know what your roommate's doing when you're out and about, so you come in and any number of things could be happening.
Sure. I'm kind of wondering if this is suffering from a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. It's either that or it's just people going, yeah, oh well.
I think it's the 6th entry, and Nev Campbell wouldn't sign a contract because they couldn't throw enough money at her. And they went, well, let's take it out of Woodsboro and see what happens. They just kind of, throwing darts at a dartboard, kind of like they did with Jason X. Like, is it Jason in Africa? Is it Jason in Antarctica? Where are we going with Jason? Like, let's take him somewhere weird. Let's do something different.
I feel like that'd be the ultimate rotting of Jason if he went to Africa. Like his wet,
hot.
waterlogged ass would just be falling apart in that heat.
Just a hippo just chews him up. I don't know, but
he would look like the T-1000 after he's been frozen in liquid nitrogen. He would just be falling off in chunks just from the oppressive heat.
I wish Ghostface would fall apart in chunks. I don't know, dude. This movie to me. So I have this. We've talked about it now 5 times, 10 weeks in a row, I guess.
My God.
Yeah, the opener of every Scream film, you and I both are like, well, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. Scream 5, we're both kind of in a little bit of an agreement. Like, we're course correcting a little bit. That is a solid opener. This one is almost completely devoid of any suspense. As soon as I saw Samara Weaving, I'm like, well, this is crap because we're going to kill her.
It doesn't have suspense, but I will give it. It has flash moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe they retroactively heard us on our podcast and they're doing their own different thing. We're doing something we've not seen done before. At least I'm going to give it that, as we have a Ghostface that pops out, kills Samara Weaving, unmasks. We see who it is, which immediately I'm like, well, this guy can't be Ghostface the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could, but my impulse is to say, okay, well, he's not going to be a through line villain, but that's different. We're going to see him take off the gear and then continue his daily activities, which between that and how the movie ends, I'm feeling that this, after 5 previous entries, this is where they decided, what if we try to turn Ghostface is a villain? He's a villain. What if he turns babyface just a little bit? So where people are like cheering for it.
Oh yeah.
Because we have the tables turned where this dude does his Ghostface killing, comes home, and then he's getting the phone call. Then he's getting stabbed. And then we have the reveal of the Ghostface family at the end. And I immediately called how when that starts to happen, when he falls through that, like, off that second balcony through the table. My God, through the table. Through the table.
I said the same thing.
I was like,
he's broken in half.
And again, another moment where I paused and I was like, so he's going to wake up and then he's going to start getting phone calls and she's wearing the full, all the while, like, 2 other people have been mortally stabbed and shot. But I was like, hold on, I got to put this shit on, like, put this over my head and like, yeah, it's going to be good. Shh.
Gonna get him.
Quit your, Tara's on the floor. Shut the fuck up. I don't know.
You're gonna ruin my prank call. So, rewatching it, this was my second watch as well, because I saw it in theaters, and then when we were winding up to this, I was like, well, I better order it. So I ordered a copy and sat down with the family and watched it last night. And my daughter really liked it, and I went, we're saying something, because I hate to out my daughter, but my daughter has absolutely terrible taste. So
it's a matter of opinion. We have to.
Yeah. I mean, if you like it, more power to you. But I was watching my family watch the movie, and I was trying to absorb the movie.
You're taking a Principal Skinner approach of like, am I wrong? Or is it the children?
Yes, it could be the children. It's the children. It's not me. So I came up with this. It has a dirty, like, patina over the whole movie. Kind of has that whole New York dirt. but it's so sterile. It looks so clean because it's all sound stages. These are all built in weird little sound stages. Everything's clearly a set. Everything looks so set piece. It looks so fake.
Nothing about it is New York related at all. Like if you weren't having in New York, you could say this is Seattle, Washington. This is Chicago.
Yeah.
This is, Chicago.
Any city, USA.
This is anywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have any. And I don't want to. And I remember advertisements and trailers being like, "Next time it's in New York." So there was. It's not out there in the title saying, "Hey, we're changing location. We're taking Ghostface out of Woodsboro and putting him somewhere else." But I feel like it was really like heavily implied. Hey, this is gonna be a new kind of a deal here. We're going to New York, which the only scene at all in my mind that defines that to a degree is they also go into a subway, much like Jason did.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But I mean, nothing else about it really says that it has to be New York or warrants like, it doesn't. Nothing about them supposedly changing where this is taking place has any bearing at all whatsoever on the story, other than to annoy me that everybody in Woodsboro all decide to go to goddamn Manhattan, New York.
Oh yeah, why not? We all go together.
Which it literally took me until the halfway through her scene of Gale Weathers, the mummy herself. I had to pause the movie and be like, "Wait, she moved to fucking New York too?"
Yeah, because she got famous again.
Yeah,
which
the wife was like, "Some friends do that. They'll apply to the same college as go." I was like, "Well, sure. I guess I just didn't have those good of friends in high school." It was pretty much like, "All right, I'll never like at your job, like when someone you work with is pretty cool, and they eventually figure out something else to do, and they leave, and you're like, well, I guess I'll never see you again."
We are officially severing ties.
Yeah, so the concept of like 4 people all moving to New York and Gale Weathers also moving to New York was outlandish to me. It was the most outlandish thing in this franchise by far.
Gale Weathers, played by T. Ryder Smith.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop staring at her lips, especially when she is laying down.
She's the trickster.
I was thinking the mutant from Enemy Mine.
She has a fish face, dude.
It's all on the lips.
I don't want to body shame, but
no, leave your fucking face alone. Age, it's okay. You're supposed to. Everyone does. You're not.
Yeah, stop stapling it to the back of your neck.
But it looks like someone's just pulling her cheeks, and it has that effect on your lips. And I was like, I can't stop staring at her lips.
Like she's Johnny Knoxville or Steve-O getting a paper cut between her lips.
Or no, it's like you're biting down on like taking a very painful shit.
Mm-hmm. So going back to what I was saying about the sterile, dirty look, remember when we covered Friday the 13th, and I kind of coined a phrase that you and I both say to this day for Friday the 13th, Part 5. Part 5 is kind of the Royale with sleaze.
Yes.
To me, Scream 6 is TikTok Scooby-Doo. I don't know what it is. It feels so this generation. I was watching my daughter vibing to all the music and like, oh girl, like, reacting to the feminism and the fucking minority lesbian couple and all the stuff going on, and it just felt like it's a Scooby-Doo for now. All these kids with their whatnots and their who's-its, but it just feels so
whatnots and who's-its.
Yeah, it just feels so far removed from that. I mean, that's source material.
That's Kevin. Is Kevin Williamson involved in this? I know he got credit.
I don't think so at all. I don't think so.
But
he's writing the new one now and directing the new one.
Okay. I had not quite the same as you, but I definitely had a moment. It was when I was so happy to see we brought Kirby back. A surprise.
Oh, you were happy for that? I like Kirby too, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the only moment I identify with Gale Weathers. She's like, they give children guns. She's like, I'm 30. I'm like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she looks a little different. But I mean,
she had some work done for sure.
I mean, someone from what 17, 18 to 30, I guess you could change in the face a lot, but I mean, she's still a cool character. And I was I was watching, and the wife was at one point, at another point we paused, just like, so who do you think it is? I'm like, not since the second movie killed me having any like wow or whoa factor on the reveal on whose it's gonna be. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it
really doesn't.
It got me that shock the first movie, and then it never was able to do it again. And this tries to do it differently by saying we got 3 of them, but I did call it, because when we get the explanation of we have the Randy explanation of what we're in. Now it's a franchise, which I shot immediate hole in. Like, franchise, each entry, bigger budget, bigger this, bigger that. And I was like, bullshit. Tremors got smaller and smaller every movie they did.
Maniac Cop got smaller and smaller.
I was like, I think it tends to go the other way, but okay. But when she's explaining on like of all the stuff, I was like, so if we're going by her rules, then it's going to be Maroney. It's going to be the old cop. He's going to be one of them. I actually was thinking it'd probably be that and the cute boy across the street, which I like that even they're acknowledging at least a little bit of what I go through of like, I'm not going to learn this, whoever the fuck's name. So just call him cute boy. There was 2 other moments where I'm like, I had to pause, like, who the fuck was that? Who's the dead guy in the tub? And the wife was like, oh, that's the boyfriend of the chubby cheek redheaded girl that we never ever see. We just hear him. And I'm like, that's where I was like, is this some like slapped together patch job shit, or is this some Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 stuff? Because we never see that dude except when he's already dead in the tub, which had to make me go, who the fuck was that?
Just her boy toy. Padding. It's body count padding, which is the other gigundous issue that I have with this movie. Is I was talking to Snarls. So Snarls, if you're listening to this,
when you listen to this,
sorry, because he asked me. He said, now that you've rewatched it, what do you think? Do you like it more or hate it more? I said, I think I hate it more.
I like it even less.
I do. I really do. I like it less than I did when I left the theater. And his thing was, dude, Ghostface is so brutal. And I wrote that down. I literally wrote, people say this is brutal. I don't know what we're comparing it to for brutal. Okay, he uses a shotgun. So
I'll say this: the stabbings are fairly good in terms of brutality. Like the
frenzy.
Yeah, the frenzy stabbings. But that also, this is coming out at the worst possible time because my wife had literally an appendectomy about a month ago. So now, and that's a small cut, a very small cut that she has on her abdomen. So me seeing someone getting stabbed in the gut with a knife and
20 plus
and then twisted. Oh my gosh, Chad, this dude has to be the new Dewey because
he's dead. He was clearly dead.
Dude gets double stabbed a handful of times and he lives. And I'm like, my wife is still recovering after a month of getting just a tiny little incision on her stomach. These people are getting stabbed and turned in their guts, and they're still like running to ambulances at the end of the movie. Like, what the fuck? This is killing me. Your surgery is killing my movie-going experience, my dear.
We are calling bullshit on the instant recovery of slasher victims for sure. But when it comes to this brutality we're speaking of, I get what you're saying. It's the frenzy is.
I'm trying my best to.
It's intense.
I'm trying my best to be giving it the devil's advocate side.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
So, with all the talk of it being brutal, like I was saying, the shotgun.
I like
people
that.
are saying, "Oh, it's so new, it's so new, it's so different." That is cool. I love the fact that we're letting Ghostface rock this shotgun. The issue is, if it's brutal, why don't we have a prosthetic getting blown off? Why don't we have a head getting... Because we open the movie with a severed head in a refrigerator. A guy completely gutted in a refrigerator. Why can't we show...
Which I was like, who the fuck is that?
His roommate, yeah. The
Again,
guy's roommate.
Moments where I'm like, who the fuck was that?
Who cares? You know, like... But the gore is so... We're skimping on the gore. So the brutality to me, the newness, he's so different, doesn't feel different to me. And the thing that hammers that nail in the coffin for me is
I hope you're not
they
going,
constantly...
I hope you're not going to say what I think you're going to say, but go ahead.
We're constantly saying, this is different, this one is new, this one is different, this one is more brutal, this one is... All bets are off. We keep going back to that. All bets are off. Anything can happen. Every single person that matters in this movie lives. Only cannon fodder bullshit people die. Even Gale Weathers, who... Why? Why do you get to live?
Yeah, especially...
Or Chad. Let's kill one of the core four, which was driving me nuts also.
Chad had too many goddamn injuries to live. Too many.
But he played sports. Remember when he was in high school, he played sports. So.
Which immediately when they show him on the gurney, I'm like, so he's the new Dewey. He's just going to become, he's BioCop. He's just going to start losing limbs and shit as each franchise entry goes on further and further. Gale.
Cue the Dewey theme. Boom, 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 boom.
Gale, I understand why she gets hit in the face so often in these movies, because it's not even a year. Technically, it's not even a year after she's like, I'm not going to write a book about this. I'll write a book about the man. Dewey Cox. And in under 300 and Dewey Cox. Because she's already forgetting what the fuck his name is. Because it's not even 365 days she has moved out of where they live in this country home by Nev Campbell, moved to an apartment in New York, and dating another unnamed guy who will get killed.
No, she lived in New York in Scream 5. They were separated.
Sure.
So he lived back in Woodsboro. She lived in
she
New
bought
York,
a house. She lives in a house with Dewey in California. She moves back to New York. Still has photos of him, which has got to be weird for a new boyfriend guy.
Nameless
boyfriend guy, which I have a hard time believing any of the triple threat of ghost faces could take this dude down. He's a big muscular guy.
Also, why would this, I'm going to say 30-something, giant, muscular, handsome dude date her? She's fucking 70, dude.
Hollywood, I'd love to introduce you to couples, Roger. He is not in this for the long haul. He is in this for the free ride.
I'm in this for the book money, son.
He's like, I get to live in this high-rise apartment? Yeah, so if I got to cozy up next to Skeletor over here, whatever.
Straight up Skeletor. But don't you feel like it's a little too safe? Is that not? Am I not alone in that?
That's a good point. My big one was like, I got the shotgun. And the wife's like, "Are you happy? It's someone doing something different, as you've been saying they should." Yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I needed. And then to go back to the knife, I'm like, all right. And then we get to my moment where I only had to pause the movie. I got up, threw some trash away, went outside. Had to take a minute while the wife is cackling her ass off. Mind you, she is laughing her ass off. The dual blade wipe.
Oh, that's the synchronized blade wipe.
Which I immediately paused. I was like, are you kidding me?
And here we go. My daughter went, that's so cool.
Visually,
and I went, no.
Visually, it looks cool. To anybody doing it in and out of context, any synchronized stuff looks cool. Why do you think flash mobs were a big deal?
Yeah, if it's Scream on ice, I'm on board.
Oh, I would rather see that.
Playing Red Right Hand while they're doing...
Yes.
Whatever.
But in the context of how we're watching these movies, I couldn't have been more like, done.
No, exactly.
That
I knew you were going to have an issue
wounded
with that,
me more than 100%. Chad.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, did you have that same moment where you're like, oh, Evil's going to flip his shit about the dual knife blade wiping?
When I saw it in theaters, I knew how dumb it was. So rewatching it, I was like, yeah, he's really not going to like that, because we've brought it up multiple times while covering this franchise. It's like, why do all of these people do the blade wipe?
How do they know to do the blade wipe?
Billy and Stu, they don't know that happened. No one knows that happened.
Yeah, because everyone that sees it happen dies.
Also, speaking of Billy and Stu, we do get the return of Billy Loomis's ghost, and even though he's 17, he's still old. He's older.
Yeah.
And I had this thought, because you remember 2 weeks ago, I brought up...
It's putting the seeds for the face turn there.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago when I brought up how I didn't feel like her character deserved to see the visions of him. I felt like it should have been Sydney seeing the visions of him.
Yes.
And while I was watching Scream 6 last night, I had this thought where I was like, I'll allow it. Let's let it happen. But if we're going to go this route and we're going to have her seeing him and talking to him, and he's aging,
yes,
obviously, and you can only do so much. Why are we not going the route of American Werewolf in London when he was having the visions of his buddy and his buddy just kept progressively rotting? Because then you're able to hide the aging process
and not to spend the money to de-age. But I mean, we're in the age of de-aging, so it's kind of the hipper, cooler thing. I feel like someone probably would have, if anyone would have suggested what you're suggesting, they've been like, "That's a cool idea," but we're not. That's 1980s kind of logic. Let's just de-age him. We can do that. We have the technology. Let's de-age him.
We have the power.
We have the $600 million man in Skeet Ulrich here.
I feel like, wouldn't that be scarier if he's popping up? It allows you to get your cheap jump scares in because it worked in American Werewolf in London, and it works in everything.
We're in Scream 6, so we're not here for suspense scares. We're here for jump scares and pop culture references, which I do like. We had
tons.
Man, did we get? I got overwhelmed in the opening sequence of this movie because we not only do we get a Last Podcast on the Left poster, we get a We Hate Movies podcast poster. So I was like, holy shit, are they in my house?
Yes, they are.
Oh, and there's a dummy to somewhere in the apartment too. They are in my house, 100%. They're 100% in my house. So I did want to ask what your thoughts were when they are going through the explanations of finding the hair fibers of previous killers, which immediately I was like, well, it's definitely the cop. Who else has access to this kind of behind the scenes locked up shit and all these props and stuff? Which I was like, are these movie props or are these real murder props? Oh, they're murder props.
Yeah, they're actual evidence. So that's what you want. You want
to when they're explaining, mainly when older cop and Kirby are talking about what is the next step in what the killer's thinking. Like, they're really kind of laying out, like, here's what he probably is doing, how he's doing it, and what he's doing next. Because to me, this is my Call of Duty moment. Because I'm watching it, and I'm like, they're saying a bunch of shit, and I don't give a fuck, and I don't know what they're saying. But get to the next scene already. Skip it.
Yeah. Skip.
Yeah. Every Call of Duty, I'm like, skip past all the dialogue shit. I don't know what they're saying, why they're saying it. Just give me gun. I go shoot things.
Yeah. I want to kill
all
things.
This stuff here. I'm like, I kind of was following it, but halfway through, almost following what Kirby was saying, I was like, whatever. Just get to, it's me for reasons. I'm going to explain shit and then die. It's
so nonsensical.
Did you follow it?
To me.
It's okay if everyone else followed it but me, or had interest to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, I follow it. I'm with you also in the I don't care. But here's the kicker, I suppose, for me, is Gail uses her super duper reporter abilities and she finds this warehouse. So you have a news reporter who sniffs out stories and writes fucking books even less than a year after her fucking love of her life died, wrote a book. So she has no problem just bypassing anyone's feelings and going for a story.
Yep.
Then you have Kirby, she's obsessed with the Woodsboro stuff because it happened to her. And you have Dermot Mulrooney, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And he's the police person assigned to the case. They all three find this place with the main cast, and they're like, crazy. They look at stuff, and then they leave. Gail did not do a live news broadcast.
Where's her...
The other cops didn't show up.
Where's her 12-pound hidden camera to film all this?
It would be a story immediately. It would be Tony Pope of Hardcore. Or Kirby would have called the FBI. The FBI would have shown up, and they would have went, well, all of this evidence has been stolen, clearly. We are police officers. Where was this evidence held?
Leave it here.
Yeah. the movie would be over right then and there. There wouldn't be like, wow, this is crazy that someone has all this stuff. We should leave and come back later. No, the FBI would be there. 100 cops would be there. Vans.
Nobody's dusting.
Ultraviolet lights.
Yeah, no one's dusting
fingerprints.
for prints.
Yeah, they would have that shit cracked so fucking fast.
Which I popped when I saw Kenny's jacket. I'm like, I wonder if someone has like his crumpled up bag of Ruffled Doritos somewhere also on display.
Yeah, they probably fucking do, because they have the most random stuff in that museum.
Yeah, knives with fresh blood still on it. Still red,
Yeah.
too. Like, definitely not how blood looks after you leave it out for a while. Not that I've done that several times, but it does turn brownish and then kind of dusty. Like, it doesn't look... It's not It's not JDF blood.
Well, and that's a stainless steel knife, so once that blood dries and becomes brown and weird, it just kind of flakes off. That's how blood... It doesn't stay congealed and weird. But since I saw this in theaters, I have been dying for this moment. I have been waiting to talk to you about this, because you and I, we live for interjecting our old man logic, our thought process. How does this work? No, this doesn't make sense, yada yada. And when I saw this in theaters, I was so angry that I could not wait to discuss it with you. All of these pieces of evidence. Now, I was talking to the wife this morning, and I said I would be fine with, let's say, the Quinn, Randy Quinn's kid, or whatever the fuck that guy's name is from the last movie. His dad knew that he was a super fan.
Holy shit, it's Ghostface guy, is what I would
Yeah, the holy shit, it's Ghostface, whatever the fuck his name is. But I would be fine, like, if his dad had gotten him, like, a swatch of, like, Billy Loomis's shirt, or, like, a piece of the Ghostface robe, you know what I mean? Like, hey, buddy, I know, like, this is your jam. I was able to cut you a little snippet, cut you a little piece. But that's the best I can do, because otherwise, I'm going to go to fucking prison. No, this dude goes for broke, and not only gets evidence from...
He goes full eraser. He swaps out his daughter's corpse with a dummy corpse and puts like some of her stuff on it to make it... And that fools everybody.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, because but this is evidence in 50 plus homicides, right? Like, I mean, this is so the murder weapons, the costumes, the clothes of the victims,
the duct tape around Steve's mouth.
Yes. So many things that, I mean, I suppose
no.
He's like Andy Dufresne, taking some rocks out in his pocket and dumping them out on the baseball diamond. But there are other things you can't just walk out of an evidence locker with, like, for, say, a 36-inch Sony Trinitron TV.
He's going in with a giant overcoat and coming out looking like Yokozuna. Like, you gained 400 pounds? Or are you wearing several layers on the way out of this evidence room?
New York
so much room. So much room in this evidence room now for activities. There's no more. We're not bogged down with all this shit in here.
Yeah, because let's face it, the crimes that happen in Woodsboro, that evidence room is probably completely empty, save for the Scream killings. So when the Scream killing stuff starts missing from small town America's evidence room, everybody would notice. And also, how does a cop from New York go to the Woodsboro evidence and take all of these things? It's so cool.
I'm more
visually.
stuck on the
visually,
eraser. His eraser moment. When did he have time or the ability to carry a random woman? I'm assuming woman's corpse up to the apartment, which it does explain how the Ghostface character is in there killing allegedly her and unnamed boyfriend in the bathtub. Anyway, because like they're all locked in this place, like 6-7 people. How is he just in the closet? Oh, it's one of them. Okay, that is explained, but him swapping the corpse out. They turned on you, then they shot each other. I was like, so he went full eraser, and like, so no one's, there's some hobo woman that died on the streets. That he's I'm going to use this for later. I'm going to put it in the trunk, yeah. Hey, Daddy, cut off some of your hair. I'm going to stuff it in the scalp, yeah. And then we're going to throw it in the tub next to the boy toy, yeah. He's a sexy boy. He's not your boy toy.
It doesn't make any sense because
No.
I went full blown shocker. Like, I went shocker mode when Peter Berg's girlfriend gets killed, and they're like, "You can't come in."
Chad,
You know what?
totally reminds me and sounds like Peter Berg.
A little Peter Berg, yeah.
It's weird.
But if it was your daughter, the police would be like, "Hold on, you don't want to see this, bro." You know what I mean? So there's has to be other cops in the crime scene processing it. Mm-hmm. So not only do you have a multitude of police officers, this is New York City. So outside you have onlookers, for one.
Yep.
And then you also have the news media. So how are you, Detective A, number one, first Duke of New York, A, number one,
Yeah.
on scene, able to go in with no other police officers, put a little spirit gum on her neck and put a prosthetic and put some fake blood.
He said prosthetic. That's right.
Yeah, and get her out of there without any other cops or a coroner looking at this body and going, "She's fucking holding her breath. She's faking. This is dumb." Like,
she's Harlem Nighting it. So like when she's not looking, she's taking short breaths.
Taking little tiny breaths. It doesn't make any sense, and that's where
It gets by because I'm too busy trying to figure out about the two college kids, how they're connected to things, and they explain it, but that's how all this other shit's flying by me because I'm too busy trying to figure out the shit that was explained a few minutes earlier about, so who are those two guys that opened the guy that opened the movie and the other unnamed guy that ended up being in the fridge, and they killed the teacher just because they wanted to kill somebody because she gave him a C because he's a Giallo fan? And what is this trying to say about Giallo fans? Not that I'm a huge Giallo fan, but like, are they taking a shot at Giallo fans? I will say they did get one thing right, though. They did a really good job at portraying the social media aspect of character assassination. That was done well.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the overarching entire point of this movie. Is character assassination. But it's, dude, it just is such a painfully average slasher movie in general. And like I was saying about the lair, it's beautiful. Visually, it's the coolest thing ever. It kills in the trailer because it excites you. Like, oh man, he's got like a Batman lair, like with all this craziness and whatever's going on. And it's so awesome to kind of go down that nostalgia rabbit hole and be like, ha, that's Stu's robe. Ha, that's the garage door. Or that's the phone, the fax machine, whatever.
That's the tropes that I'm saying. Remember all these other movies you might want to watch instead?
Yeah. And it's sad because all the special features end like that. They put up like Scream 1 on Blu-ray. Like, or buy Scream 1 on Blu-ray. It's like, oh, you got done watching this one? Remember the good one? You should probably own the good one. And
Spaceballs the t-shirt.
Yeah. It's super cool. Like I said, visually beautiful, amazing.
And then but them just trying to explain how, and the college kids are tied to having this place, and all this dialogue that's thrown out to explain how things are how they are, and I'm just like, for a hot second, I'm like, all right, explain this to me, and then once they start, I'm like, it's just wah, 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 wah. I'm like,
Charlie Brown,
I don't care anymore.
Teacher on the phone.
Like, is it explain it? Oh,
I told you. Do you remember 2 weeks ago I said how Scream 5 kind of jumps the shark on that? She's faking like she stabbed. Oh, I'm the killer. It goes, and the killer reveal to the very end of the movie is like maybe 10 minutes. It's so fast. In this movie, when we start the killer reveal, that monologue feels like it takes 10 minutes. It's just like blah, 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 and then like it drags and drags and drags, and I'm supposed to be like invested and want to be like, yeah, let's go. But it just falls so flat once we get the reveal that you're just kind of waiting for the credits. Like, no one's gonna die. Who cares? They're gonna kill these 3 fucking goobers, and it's over.
I did. This makes me always feel better about if I'm in my Joe job, just paying the bills. Like I could be a script doctor for the Scream franchise, because when they had the moment where Wednesday Addams is hanging over the balcony. And she's like, "You gotta let me go." Like, oh, they're bringing the whole. They're bringing it's metaphorical.
That's right.
She has to let her go. That was kind of a brutal kill. Him getting stabbed. A random dude whose third ghost face gets stabbed in the mouth.
Yeah,
that was
the
pretty
other
good.
son looks like poor man's Evan Peters, dollar store Evan Peters.
Yeah, the two kids were the most underwhelming reveals I may have had in the 6 movies. I was more excited that it was old cop, because I was like, it'd be cool if it was him, just because like that's definitely against all types of all these young kids that have the old angry Clint Eastwood cop being him. But I was like, it's got to be more than one person, because someone's talking on the phone while they're taking out Gail's boyfriend. And Maroney would have destroyed his entire shoulder trying to body check that door with the dresser behind it during the ladder sequence, which I guess that's probably the most tension grabbing moment of the movie.
It's good. It's decent.
Which I was like, why the fuck has this guy got this cute guy across the window way have like an 8-foot ladder in his apartment?
So I got to bring that up. And
Please.
You see what you think. You see what you think, because I argued with my wife. I said, those are for if your apartment building catches on fire and you need to get out. If you can't get out of your front door, you bridge the gap to the closest building and you get out. And she said, no, that ladder is to go out the window all the way down to the ground. I said, that's like a 10-foot ladder, and they're like 5 stories up. It is not a ladder to reach the ground. It is a ladder.
Maybe you have to throw it out the window and then climb it as you're going down in the midair.
Like a cartoon?
Yeah, and then you step off at the last minute, you're fine.
Yeah, that's how inertia works. But that's what I think is the whole purpose is in case your apartment catches fire.
That's
and
the
you
best
need to
idea.
make it.
Okay, you've just explained a reason for him to have it. Other than that, I was like, why does he have this like 8-10 foot ladder that extends in his room?
No, it's weird though. It's weird.
It is weird.
But that's the only way I can explain it.
He seems exponentially older than her too.
Oh yeah.
Not
Way
like
older.
too creepy older, but like
6-7 years old maybe. Older.
I would say like 8 to 10. Like he seems older.
26, 27.
Which I love that she's like, yeah, ride with us in the subway system all the way to the theater, and then be like, you can't come in here. But thanks for the ride. Now go home by yourself.
Yeah, you told me not to trust you. Well, now you're
I was
30 blocks away from your house.
Yeah, I would figure I would bring that up now, so you have to go home alone.
Yeah, good luck. I also really like that we do, with that ladder sequence, we kind of get a little bit of Slumber Party Massacre, where they've got the door barricaded with the chest or whatever.
He is checking that door so hard, so often. I'm like, I felt my shoulder start to hurt.
Oh yeah, it's pretty intense. And then, of course, I can't believe you didn't make. I'm sure you made this correlation when you were watching it, but the Asian girlfriend straight up gets pivened. That's what I'm just gonna call it. She just gets pivened.
Oh, I was like, I saw this shit in Judgment Night.
Yeah, straight up gets Jeremy pivened, and that's pretty.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I like that they're like,
impactful.
we can have her hit the ground, but like have her hit the dumpster and then hit the ground.
Yeah, and then get that cool close up of her face all mangled.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's earned its brutality marks. I'll give it its spots. It's definitely a more brutaler movie than some of the previous entries have, borderline on PG-13.
Oh yeah,
kind of
Scream
territory.
3, we're looking at you.
Yeah, just with the fuck counts alone in this movie, they make sure to get that R rating.
Yeah. The one thing about that ladder sequence that, and it probably doesn't bother anyone else, but it bothers me just a scotch.
Just enough.
Is when we're dealing with the exterior of that building and we've got that exterior shot looking from window to window, you know, when the walls of those buildings, they're so like Batman 60 something, whatever the 60s show. They're so fake, like built on some kind of a studio flat. They look so clean. This is New York, dog. You're gonna tell me that five stories up, that stuff is that clean? No bird shit, no nothing.
Some places are pretty good about that. Like I know in Seattle, they have a bunch of these spiked little, almost like bush-like things they put on the corners of all buildings where birds would kind of congregate, but they're put there to deter them, and it relatively does a good job of keeping things clean.
Nice.
I remember.
I don't know city upkeep. You and I are from a tiny town.
I don't either, but I've heard several people bitch in previous podcasts that I've listened to about the portrayals of New York, particularly like Jason Takes Manhattan. That's not that dirty. That it's got a grime to it, but there's not like alleyways and there's not dudes doing crystal meth and heroin on abandoned couches.
Well, let me just pose this though. Which alleyway feels, we're not from New York, but which alleyway feels more New York to your cinematic mindset?
Neither one, because there's so many people missing in the area. Particularly, like the opening alleyway where Samara Weaving is, and all of a sudden people just stop walking past. And I was like, I've gotten the impression, and they try to give it to us in the subway sequence, which I was like, ooh, we're going full Predator 2 here. Mm-hmm. But that there's elbow to elbow people constantly until there isn't, and then there's nobody in sight. Convenient. Then it's Lamar weaving down a lone alleyway, or these people trying to come across a ladder from building to building, and no other windows are open, no one's looking, no one's hearing, like bitching about the noise. I don't think he gives a shit. Where's that? Where's that old lady with a broom just? And that's what that would be a good pop. If we had somebody just bitching about the noise up above and looks out and sees Ghostface and just closes the window or something.
Yeah. Like Chud, you know?
Yeah, just open the window. Screaming, what the hell's with all the... Just close
you better call the Ghostbusters or whatever the line is from...
Holy shit, it's Jason!
I'm bolting that window, too. But that's what I was saying is the Jason Takes Manhattan alleyways versus the alleyways in this movie. In your brain... Aesthetically,
it feels more New York than here.
Aesthetically, does...
This feels like...
Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan's alleyways, even though they're in
These alleyways
Canada.
Feel identical to me to Batman Begins.
Clean.
Even as far as the color goes. Like, it's grimy, but just a little bit. But just how it looks, how it's shot, the colors they choose. I felt like this is Gotham City, which is, ironically, Chicago. So a Chicago alleyway... I can believe that feels more appropriate.
Yeah. I just have an issue with how... I think it's the lighting, right? I feel like because it's so clean.
Clean, but it's got
the lighting palette is clean.
It's got kind of that orange tint to the buildings. Which, again, very Batman Begins to me.
And sharp.
Yes.
It's real sharp. There's nothing absorbed in shadows. Say like Predator 2 alleyway. There's a lot of smoke, steam, shadow.
Yes, it's layers.
Yeah, you have that, like a level of grime, grit to deal with. And these alleys are just, well, I can see.
Don't lean too hard
all
on
the
this,
way through.
Don't lean too hard on this wall; it might collapse because it's just a 2x4.
Yeah, there's like a Teamster behind there drinking coffee, like in Truman
holding
Show.
it up with his hand. Yeah.
Yep.
Scream 6. This happens on every set I work on.
Brutal Massacre reference, deep cut. All this bitching that I'm doing aside, it's nice to see that this movie has gotten 6 entries, or this franchise has gotten 6 entries, let me say.
Oh, baby, it's time to slip into something a little more comfortable. It's time for the Brown Panty Award.
I'm going to give my Brown Panty Award specifically to the Scream franchise because it didn't deserve to be done like this.
I want to give it to Chad because although but I was like, everything they're setting up, I was like, when they're the potential romance between him and Wednesday Addams, I'm like, he's definitely going to die.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, the core 4. Everyone's going to be doing that. And they're like, he is definitely going to die. They are getting the heartstrings ready. Cue up the band. We're going to start the sad, hit up Evanescence for a track. It's time to kill this guy. And then he goes out on a shield. So I'm like, and he's stabbed by 2 people at the same time, several times. Easily 20, 30, 40, 100 stabs. He's
100.
Yeah, he's stabbed so much. He is a human pincushion.
Yeah.
He's done.
He's a voodoo doll.
They even shoot it if he's like, run, go, get out, I'll be fine here. I'm going to buy you time while they keep stabbing me. He should be, oh God, they're killing me. They're killing me.
Why did we not get that one line of dialogue? I would have immediately taken back everything I've ever said about this movie if he died like that.
Yes, give us
It'd be my
that.
favorite. It would 100% be my favorite.
He should be dead. And that is right up there with the dual knife cleaning is him on the gurney. And I'm like, are you shitting me? He's alive. They're not even rushing him into the ambulance. No. They're just like, put you in the ambulance. Now you be okay. Have you been stabbed? How much blood do you have left?
My favorite is she comes up to kiss him and takes the oxygen off him. And when I was watching it last night, I went, like, no, he really fucking needs this. He's got to go.
His lungs.
Every time he
give
breathes,
him a glass of water, it's just going to shoot out the holes. Yeah.
Like a goddamn lawn sprinkler.
Yeah, he is a Looney Tune.
Oh, yeah, like a Bugs Bunny when he drinks some water.
Didn't hit me once.
Oh, it's so good.
So it should be Chad that gets that achievement. But, of course, him, Mindy, and Gail are all apparently off-screen going to pull through.
Yeah, everyone's going to make it. I want to say this about Mindy.
She's cool. I still like her.
I like Mindy. I liked Mindy more in 5 than I do in this one.
About the same.
There's something about the I don't know, the rules monologue and stuff, where to me now we're getting to a point where it feels like we're checking off the boxes. We haven't even talked about this yet. Roger Jackson feels like an afterthought in this movie. We have a fair amount of phone calls, but they're not like impactful. They don't feel.
They're okay. Again, I like it when they turn him babyface and he's working against the actual killers, which I was like, so she found everything, including a voice changer in this room to use. Okay. Mm-hmm. I did really like, not related, but Mindy related. I did like the debate. It felt very Step Brothers like between her and Kirby. I'm just waiting for her to be like, favorite magazine to masturbate, non-pornographic magazine to masturbate to.
Good housekeeping.
Favorite dinosaur without even thinking about it. Go. Velociraptor. The three of us become best friends. Yup.
You want to go try on Ghostface masks in the garage?
Yup.
So good. Yeah, there's just like all the other movies.
There's flashes.
And I'm saying I'm shitting on this a little too hard, dog.
But that's what we're here to do.
Definitely flashes of brilliance. But it's not Wes Craven. It's not Kevin Williamson. And there's a chemistry with those guys, it was special.
Reviewing 2, 3, and 4, it definitely takes some of the mystique out of Wes Craven. He still has it, but he did make Scream 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, I mean that's just directing style. If you look at the way that it's directed, it's the writing that gets a little more, because it has to get more campy, more self-referential, all that meta business, which this movie does a good job of giving us a ton of meta stuff. But with Roger Jackson specifically, I just feel like we're kind of missing the mark on him being intimidating again. It's almost cartoony. And that's where the Scooby-Doo thing comes in for me, where it's like, that's all we're missing is like, oh man, it's Old Man Mulrooney from the police station.
Old Man
You
River.
know, like-
from the amusement park. Well,
That's
Wayne's
literally all we're missing.
I don't know. I'm still like I said 5 movies previously. I'm still hung up on the we don't have a Ghostface definitive. We have a Ghostface that's it's like a
Collective.
It's like the Daily Show right now. It's like we have a different host every day, every week. It's not one person. Mm-hmm. And that affects how I'm viewing it because I can't see an icon of the series that is the icon of the series. He is the icon, the voice, everything about him. But someone different every single time.
Yeah. That's the biggest hang up. I think it's just going to be forever for us. And we get it, like our homies slashing cast.
And who the fuck makes up that voice? In the movie world, because that is not is that a preset on this voice changing device? Like who that would be an interesting, that's where we should go for the next movie, which, spoiler, Scream 7 has been greenlit. They have signed the check. They backed up the Brinks truck to Neve Campbell's home. She is going to be reprising Sydney because the other 2 stars of these last 2 movies have said, nah, not enough money, or we're busy, or
They got fired.
They got fired?
Yeah. The lead girl, not Jenna Ortega, her sister,
Yeah.
had some social media posts that
Oh, it's art imitating real life then.
that the studio didn't agree with and said, hey, take this stuff down, can't say this kind of stuff. And she said, fuck you, I'm going to say whatever I want. And they said, well, bye. And then Jenna Ortega was like, well, if you're going to fire her, you have to fire me too. And they went, well, bye. And then when that happened...
Thought she had the clout to stand her ground and be like, I'm the star of this shit.
Yep. Nope.
They got
and
3
then when that
amigos.
happened, the director was like, fuck, man. Like, so now I need a whole new script, and I don't have my stars.
You tear me apart, Paramount.
So he quit. And so now that we've got a new script that Kevin Williamson wrote. So the previous Scream 7 that was coming out has all been redacted. It's gone. So Kevin Williamson jumps back in, writes a script. He's going to direct. So we may get a course correct, but it's Scream 7. So who?
Hey,
I mean,
I'll
see it.
The debate was said between Mindy and Kirby. Best Friday the 13th, and one says 2, one says 4. I say 5, 7, and 8. So we've not hit a 7 yet. So shit. I sound like you. Like shit. 7 could be the best one I've seen since the first one.
It could, and let's go. I will see it, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna baseline, just baseline my expectations because Scream 5. I really, really liked. I was like, woo, we're back, baby. And then when it got time for Scream 6, I was super hyped. And then I saw it in theaters, and I didn't like the killer reveal, which you know just as well as I do, that really will take the wind out of the sails because the whole movie hinges on it, even though by this point we don't care. So it's a hard sell when we don't care.
Maybe that'll be the twist, is maybe they realize like no one's getting their socks blown off by the killer reveal. Maybe if we just make that a non-factor, maybe that's the route to take. And they already laid the groundwork for, like, because the wife's like, oh, I'd like to see Sydney be the one as the killer this time. They've already laid clues to that being a thing in the story in this movie, as well as the if you believe Stu's really dead thing. So they've already went down that road too of like, oh, the TV, which is the 900-pound TV that killed Stu Macher is here, but like if you believe the stories. So there's already planting of seeds of could it be Neve Campbell actually killing her? Bloodlust is beyond the limits now, and she's got to start creating ghost faces to kill them.
And that's why she wasn't in this movie.
Oh, there we go.
Off the
That's
deep
the
end.
Scream 7 I want. I want her killing people and then planting all the ghost face evidence on the bodies when she leaves. Like, stopped another one. You're welcome, PD.
So I can't remember do you remember my original theory for this movie, what I thought was going to happen?
I do not.
Which I feel is interesting, but we didn't go that route, so I want to tell you that theory that I had, and then I'm going to tell you a theory for the next movie.
Yes.
So my original theory for this because we get that throwaway little thing in Scream 5 on the YouTube videos. Is Stumacher dead or alive, like whatever. So my thought process was, well, clearly we're gonna bring the Stu is alive thing full circle into the timeline. And what I thought was, it would be interesting if he was still in prison or being released from prison when these murders start back up. So he immediately becomes a prime suspect. We go, we talk to him, we get to see he's older, and he's like, you know, I was peer pressured into that. Like, I did my fucking time. I'm not a bad guy, but I get it. You know, kind of cotton weary him a little. And so we're suspicious of him, but he's like, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, just like we were suspicious of Cotton the whole time. But it turns out that while he was in prison, a bunch of like weirdo fans he was corresponding with through letters. And so then it would make sense that there would have been like 6 or 7 people in Ghostface costumes helping the killing to make Ghostface seem like he could be anywhere and do anything. And it was like a group of like his fucking followers, his groupies, his
Fredheads.
You know, yeah, his fan club, and he's kind of orchestrating it. So then he could be like, no, I'm completely innocent. I have nothing to do with it, but he's getting revenge on everybody. So that was my original thought for Scream 6. It didn't happen. So could happen in 7, but who knows? But my son and I, we were talking last night, and as far as Scream 7 goes, Tyson brought that up. As soon as it got over, he went, the biggest problem with these movies is it's always like, oh, it's somebody we know, and it's like some stupid girl and some wussy boy who like couldn't really do those things. Like that teenager couldn't blow through that door like that or whatever, you know, like it's always bull crap. And he's like, I think what Scream needs is it needs to be someone nobody knows. Like it just needs to be Ghostface. It needs to be an unknown person,
an anomaly,
doing it for, you know, for no reason or whatever. Like it doesn't have to hinge on a reveal. It just has to be Ghostface because that's what people like. And I said, well, that's kind of where Evil and I are on that. Is Ghostface is an icon, but it's always like an interchangeable icon. So if it could be a dedicated one new person, that could work. But I don't know.
I have no idea. I'll go with my fan theory of it's Neve Campbell's just placing it's her version of sprinkle some crack on him. Let's get out of here. Let's put a mask and a cell phone in his pocket. We'll call it a day here.
I've seen this once when I was a rookie. Apparently, he broke in and hung up
murder
him
and his family
memorabilia. Hung up murder memorabilia. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Killing them softly reference. Deep cut.
Yeah, that's not 20, probably 5 years old at this point.
Oh, still one of the best stand-up specials ever.
3 years younger than this franchise that started in 1996. So we're 20. What was that? 20. I'm good at math. 22, 23 years away from the 25th anniversary of Scream.
96, 2006.
No.
2016.
I'm already doing the old man thing. I'm 30, almost 35 years old.
2026 will be 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else written down that I wanted to discuss.
I'm just reflecting on old man who can't do math now.
The one thing that is kind of, I mean, this whole movie is far-fetched with the stealing of props or evidence or whatever, but I did want to call kind of bullshit on one aspect in that bodega scene, which I like. I like the shotgun. I like all that stuff.
That's the equivalent of Welcome to New York.
Yeah. But it's 2024. So my thought was, this is New York City. You're telling me that no one other than the shopkeep has like a license to carry?
Yes. In New York, yes.
I would just assume that
it is.
Almost everybody had a firearm.
That's the uncool thing of getting older, is I'm paying attention to some news a bit more now. So yeah, guns in New York is a little bit harder to come by, so it's not quite how it was in.
No.
It's not quite Predator 2 where they're all armed.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, like
Yeah,
tell me.
it's a bit harder now. There's not as many. The conceal carry stuff is not as prevalent there as it is where we live, where everyone probably packs at least 3 guns.
They got American flag hats and American flag Punisher logos on the back of their giant trucks.
Which my 2 cents, unrelated, but my bitching that I've done the last several weeks, I really fucking hate that the Back the Blue, all that shit has adopted that Punisher skull logo, because I have it tattooed on my fucking arm because I like the 2004 movie, not
like
this
the
other
Punisher.
shit. And they're trying to, and now I'm almost getting blackballed in some degrees because they're seeing that tattoo on my fucking arm and thinking I'm one of these backwoods fuckwads. No,
quit commandeering our cool shit.
I was like, Marvel needs to step the fuck in and start copyrighting that shit and take it away from these folks, because that's a Marvel logo, that's a fantasy world, that's a comic book shit. It's not stop taking my stuff.
Yeah, leave us alone. Leave Brittany alone.
Leave me alone.
But on the subject of weapons, real quick before we move on to our
yes.
next segments, we have a lot of cool weapons. Whatever.
It should have been.
It
should have been Ken Kersinger as the shopkeep too.
Oh, that would have been amazing. He's not busy. Holler at him. Come on, and he's in Canada. Dude lives there. You could have just fucking walked on down.
I was just making some maple syrup, eh?
Yeah.
Wrestling bears.
Real early on, we get the Chekhov's gun of a taser.
Yes.
That never comes back into play. And I really was thinking by the time we got to that showdown, that finale, that taser was going to come back. That's really all I have to say about that. I just thought, so maybe there is some stuff on the cutting room floor, because it seems like it's one of those things, it's a waste of screen time. Why introduce it if it does not come back?
That's a really funny joke. She's like, excuse me for 1 second, I'm just going to tase you in the balls really quick.
Well, like tase this dude's nutsack off, but it doesn't come back, and that's a shame.
Yeah, it should be like him, Maroney standing in a puddle, and she just tapes down the trigger on it and just flings it at him and just.
Oh, she zero boys his ass.
Yeah. It's just been revoked.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Put the old school shocker electricity lights all around him, and all of a sudden, he's magnetized.
Yeah, rotoscope some lightning in there. Yeah.
Yep, and then he's Ernest goes to jail.
No sequel for you.
Your luggage. Oh wait.
Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. We're just going on tangents now.
Yes, but he is Eraser.
Yes.
Yeah, I got nothing else. That's plenty, I think, for this this franchise, where we talked about where it's gone, where we think it might go.
Space. They're gonna go to France.
Take it to camp.
Let's go.
Or take it like Friday the 13th. We're still waiting on them to ever do. Take it to a winter setup. Give me the 80s throwback ski resort.
Let's do it.
Ghostface on skis.
One last thing, Evil.
Yes.
Just a yes or no. This movie takes place on or around Halloween. Does it have a true Halloween aesthetic to you?
No.
No, not at all. That's it.
It has one fucking line, and it's, "You're a day early for Halloween." I guess there's a costume party, but I didn't even interpret that as a costume party. I'm like, it's a frat party. Chad's shirtless as whatever the fuck he is, and I'm like, yeah, that was my first one. I was like, he needs to die in this movie. He's just at a party shirtless, just because he. Think you're better than me with your abs and shit?
I like to lather this up every morning in the shower.
Yeah, as I'm eating a cookie brownie combination on the couch, I'm like, he thinks he's better than me? Him and his shirtless bull. I hope he gets stabbed 100 times later in this movie by 2 people. I hope he gets wobbly-H'd. by 2 knives.
Woo! Beep, 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 beep. On that note, let's move on. We're done. So what does that mean, Evil?
Well, we didn't care for this movie a great deal, so time for the Amazon 1-star reviews.
Great segue. I love this.
Hated it. Oh, boy. This is the part of the job that I don't mind it. All right. Mr. Jackson. Ooh, he was for real.
It's true, he was.
On July 3rd, 2023, 1-star, horrible. Didn't even finish it.
Wow.
Where do you
That's
think
saying
Mr.
something.
Jackson called it a day on this movie?
Oh. I don't know, man. I feel like if you can get through the opener, you can get all the way.
Really?
Yeah, because
I'm going to say he called out at the same spot I did where the Call of Duty explaining comes in. I'm like, can I just skip the dialogue sequences here?
Yes. All the dot connecting. Well, this means this and this and this and this.
And I'm like,
So thus, therefore.
yeah. But how, why did, whatever.
It doesn't matter. Why didn't you guys call the FBI? That's all.
They did.
That's the
Kirby's
question.
there. Kirby's
We
FBI.
need more FBI.
Which again,
FBI
old
that
man
couldn't be
moment came in,
suspects.
and I'm like, Kirby's 30 and already in the FBI. Is she old enough to be in the FBI already? Or is it just like, am I just that unmotivated in my life that I was like, you can't get to the FBI by age 30. You got to be at least 62 before you become an agent.
I think it's because she's so, I hate to say it, it's because she's so attractive. She's a very cute person. I mean, look back at Jodie Foster, Silence of the Lambs. Dr. Lecter. She's probably
But she's
late 20s.
She was an intern then. Like she's like learning the ropes in that movie, and it's actually explained that she is picked for specific reasons because of how she looks and whatnot as to why she got the job she got. Not that
Dr. Lecter.
Not that that Kirby's like just because she was stabbed in a massacre a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, well, she's instantly going to become a top agent in her field. I don't know.
She's fast tracked, baby.
I believed it for Heather Langenkamp for Nightmare 3. I guess I'll take it for Kirby becoming a crack shot FBI agent.
The best of the best.
Yes, and she's stabbed in the same goddamn place she was in the last movie she was in. She nearly needed
upset my wound.
She's like, they should have stabbed there and the blade should have broke. Like, oh, that's all scar tissue. It's all hardened over. You can't stab that no more.
Titanium plate, bitch.
I'm wearing a lead breastplate.
Frightener's reference, deep cut. We're on a roll today.
Oh yeah. Chris, on June 5th, 2023, 1-star, lame. Wish I could get the time I spent watching this back.
It is a little long.
It's
I'll say
2
that.
hours and 2 minutes, and I'm like, that was again the first thing I saw when we went to hit play on it is the runtime. I'm like, did we need this? Do we need 120 minutes to explain all this? Like, and we literally stopped at 1 hour, I think, in 8 minutes in, and I'm like, in any other of these movies, I feel like it should be wrapping up in the next 20 minutes. But we got another 50 fucking minutes to go.
And that's all Dermot Mulrooney overacting. And
Oh, I love how
why he's killing everybody.
He goes full old school heel with his
Straight up.
mad scientist.
Sweaty and spitting and
Yeah, he's great. He just needs to, step on a puppy and show his cheated tax forms and how he's burned down an orphanage on his way to this movie theater.
see, Dermot Mulrooney overacting and going bananas in this movie. That's like he didn't know what movie he was in. You know what I'm saying? If the whole movie was bug nuts like he is, it would become our new favorite. But he doesn't. He's in a Clint Howard movie, man. He's not in Scream 6. I just wish the whole movie would match his tone.
I don't know.
Then we'd be like, this is popcorn as fuck.
We had Ola Fantastic in part 2, and I feel once his reveal was out, he was pretty out there too. So maybe he was just channeling that. I don't know. USC Trojans. May 11, 2023, 1-star. Horrible, one of the most brain-dead movies I have seen. Atrocious across all fronts.
Woo. Not holding nothing back.
Sure. From the letter A. This one's brought to you by the letter A. This is just user A. Ding! April 29th, 2023. From Team Nev Campbell.
Sorry.
Meh. This movie is nothing without Nev Campbell. Proud of her for standing up for herself. Am I missing something here? Was she going to be something and she wasn't, and they replaced it? And what is? Do you know anything about?
I would assume it had to do with money, which is why she wasn't going to come back for Scream 7.
Which I wonder if it was
other stars.
I wonder if it was so much money and she was trying to stick to her run time of like a week of shooting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because minus that first movie and kind of that second one, she's not in the other movies as much as everyone seems to think she is. Maybe
she needed that Gale Weathers fish face stapling money.
Which, yeah, I saw that Courtney Cox is like executive producer. She's got her fingers in the behind the scenes roles now for this. So
the honeypot.
That really makes me to believe that she will never die. She will be the Titanic woman. I slept with a homeless man and let him drown. She's going to be always here. We will never be rid of Nev Campbell of Courtney Cox. Nev Campbell is expendable and might be after this movie, this next movie. But when maybe I saw it in the title, I was like, Courtney will never leave.
Maybe they will go full heel turn for Nev, and then you and I can both kind of retire from the franchise happy. Like, there, at least she gets killed because she's a whack job.
I like to see
put a nice little bow on it.
I like to see them just give the middle finger to fans. And you know what? Let's make a direct sequel to the first one and pretend 2 through 6 didn't happen.
Remember all that old shit?
Oh my gosh, people's heads would explode. The internet might just demolish itself in smoke and flames of pissed offedness. Nico Nice. This is the last 1-star I got. Nico Nice, March 20th, 2023, 1-star. Screes, SCRE, and then the Roman numerals for 6. They couldn't bother with the EAM space to say Scream 6. As Scree Roman numerals is pretty terrible. This is somehow worse than the last movie, and that one was pretty bad. The series has gone downhill rapidly after the excellent original and equally excellent first sequel. I was with you till the second half of that sentence. Mm-hmm. The franchise has become a parody unto itself, and it's clear this isn't for anything other than a cash grab, instantly forgettable, too heavy-handed with its self-awareness, and the only good thing in this fiasco, good use of fiasco, is regulated to a total of 5 minutes of screen time with returning characters Kirby. Please stop making Scream movies. They are getting worse with each installment.
I promise I didn't write that.
You are not Nico Nice?
I am not. I am not nice.
I should mark that helpful for use of fiasco. Not a word used enough, and it sounds kind of cartoonish, but a very good one, fiasco.
Mm-hmm. We need to bring it back.
The Scream franchise has become a fiasco.
That's the description of this episode. And it's also going to get blown to smithereens.
Yeah, this fiasco is smithereens.
That's a sweet rapper name.
Fiasco Smithereens.
Dropping that new album, Scream 6.
I think I'm going to use that as an alias for things.
Yes. Get a fake ID.
I was going to use it just next time I'm at like Sam's Club and they're like, can we talk to you about your cell phone plan? I'm like, how you doing? Fiasco Smithereens. From Woodsboro, California, USA.
Oh, that's perfect. Please. We got to get Fiasco Smithereens shirts made or something because that's too good.
Puts that immediately put that on. We're renaming the podcast. Welcome to the Fiasco Smithereens podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what?
Gotta have an explosion, and then that horn thing you always
Beep,
do.
beep, 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 beep.
Son of a bitch. Well, now that we're done with Amazon 1-star reviews, Evil, what does that mean?
It's time for Fiasco Francisco Smithereens to boot up to play the game. Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. I got it wrong again. Fuck this franchise.
That is perfect. Oddly enough, both of those sound bites are getting pumped into this podcast because I was going to say, I got it wrong again. That's the producers. And then fuck this franchise is the fans. Oh, boy. But that's right. It is time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you got to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. So since we're covering Screav 6, I'm just going to say, you can't take Ghostface mask. You can't take his robe. You can't take his buck knife. You can't take his boots. None of the killers.
Nothing
Masks.
nothing in the prop room.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Otherwise, I would have taken Kenny's jacket. And just be like, oh, is that from Scream? No, Scream 6.
I would have allowed it, I think. 'Cause that's not
I
quite-
just blacklisted everything personally for me in that room. I was like,
Gotcha,
everything here is a
gotcha.
deep cut. But go, continue.
Deep cut enough. But yeah, pick something weird, pick something strange. Let us know in the comments on the podcast. Let us know on TikTok. Let us know on YouTube. Let us know on Facebook, Patreon, Discord, wherever you find us. Let us know what prop you're picking.
Did you say
Because,
TikTok?
I did. We have a TikTok now.
We have
I
a
fucking hate
TikTok.
it, but-
Quickly, what is our handles on our TikTok, Instagram? I mean, we're 3B
Well,
video
off the top of my head,
on
it's
Facebook,
Deep Cut Pod
on TikTok. Yes.
3B Video on YouTube, 3B Video on Facebook. Instagram would just be Evil Dead Inks, all one word.
And you're more you than me on that one because you post a good amount of behind the scenes stuff, what you're working on, and whatnot.
Yes.
So you're just your IG is just
Dustin Matson, 3B.
3B. I keep wanting to say the other end of that, but that's not it.
Nope. Yeah, it's good old 3B, Dustin Matson 3B. But yeah, find us, let us know. We'd like to connect with you guys. We'd like to talk to you guys and hear what you think. I'm sure there are people out there who really like this movie, so they want to tell us how dumb we really are, and that's fine, because there's no
You don't
such
need to
thing
tell
as
me.
a-
I know.
Yeah, we know.
I literally had the moment where I know it in this movie, where they're explaining all this shit, and probably a hardcore fan's like, yeah, that makes 100% all the sense in the world. Like, it's very, it's the Pepe Sylvia fucking pen board there, and I'm just like, just get to the shit, man. I don't care.
It's just missing Ice-T and Mariska Hargitay.
This whole box is Pepe Sylvia.
So you want me to go first this week, Evil?
Sure. If you have something ready in the chamber to go, shoot me with it.
I do. So,
All the confidence
There's a
on
lot.
that one, on that noise.
well, you know, I was going to say, there's all that cool stuff in that building that kind of reminds us of better movies.
Yes.
But there's some pretty neat stuff in this movie. We have some cool set pieces. We go
There is.
some cool places. We do some cool things. There's a fair amount of gore, even though I feel that this is still kind of reserved for all that brutal talk we get. But if I'm going to take a prop from this movie, I think I'm taking the refrigerator full of
Fuck
dead
you.
roommate.
You motherfucker.
Is that what you wanted?
Yes, I was like college kid in the fridge.
Yeah, I wanted that severed head.
The entire
specifically,
fridge.
But I'll take the severed head. You can have the fridge if you want to rock it that way.
I'll get the rest of the corpse in the fridge.
The head can visit. You know, reunite.
Just glue it back on there.
Can I just get their Blu-ray copy of Jason Takes Manhattan?
No, because we already have plenty of copies of them.
I know,
oh my
but-
gosh, we have so many copies of Friday the 13th Part 8.
Yes, we do.
Between the two of us, we got, 5 copies of it?
I couldn't even count. I'd have to. So, Crystal Lake, the Camp Crystal Lake to Manhattan set.
The 8-pack, yes.
I have the standalone original Paramount DVDs. I have the deluxe edition DVDs. I have
the Shout Factory
Blu-ray set. Yeah, that's a lot. I got a lot of copies of that
lot.
movie. And on VHS. So,
fine. Just to be outside the box, give me the We Hate Movies and LP on the Left posters in Hispanic Jonah Hill's apartment.
Nice.
Which,
perfection.
Again, not saying he looks like Jonah Hill, but when he is on the phone talking to Samara Weaving, I'm like, that sounds like Jonah Hill.
Yeah, it does.
And then to see this shorter Hispanic guy, I'm like, huh. Didn't get that from the voice. And then when I hear him talk, I'm like, he still sounds like it to me. And Chad looks and sounds like Peter Berg at times. Like, I'm really feeling like he's gonna break into the butt whooping song any minute.
Dad.
No, Dad. Oh no, that's Batman Returns.
Yeah, Barnage.
That's Leatherface. Dad, is the family okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me those posters of 2 other podcasts, and I'll be like, yep, I like this on their own, and it's cool that they somehow made it. And I hope they get residual checks. I hope, well, LP on the Web doesn't need that shit no more. They're huge. We Hate Movies, pretty damn good show. I guess we kind of take a page out of their book with this franchise a little bit.
You know, and I want to say this because I was actually talking to my wife before you and I started rolling, and you and I, we really kind of pride ourselves on our positivity. We generally like to cover things that you and I truly love. And I think it was a few weeks ago you were like, I kind of really like it when we have varying opinions. And it's, you know, because we give love letters and we look at these movies through rose-colored glasses all the time. And I think you might be right, because there's something about when a movie doesn't... Because not like we absolutely hate this movie. I'm sure we're going to rewatch it, you know, many a times down the road. But
no, I'm positive. I watched this on Paramount Plus because we have a subscription through them at the moment. You bought the movie, and I'm like, you know, we have 1 through 4. We don't own a physical copy of 5 and 6, but I'm like, definitely redoing this franchise for this show. I'm like, we probably need to pick up 5 and 6 just to have actual copies of them, just in case when the cloud blows up, we still can watch those other 2 movies.
Cloud?
You know, the up there where all of our stuff is, because we don't want to hold it on anything anymore.
Yep. I feel like when it's something that doesn't quite click all of our criteria, and you and I have our old man interjections, it's pretty special. So
it's a bit more of a task on movies we both love, because it tends to slightly be a bit more of the Chris Farley show. Like, that was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's okay.
Yeah, not to say we're not still going to do that shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because there's sometimes we don't have a negative thing to say at all. But I'm having a good time. I'm just gonna say that. I'm feeling like myself. I'm having a good time. Kind of feels good to be back in the saddle and sun shining over my shoulder and making fun stuff with my best buddy. So
I have no sunshine down here. I'm in the this could be 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m. 4 a.m. I don't know. I'm in the corner
of evil.
Yeah, I'm in the corner of a dark room. It could be anytime. There's it's a casino down here. No clocks, no windows, no nothing. I just sit down here and wait to start the show again.
Got to put a quarter in you and wind you up, and
here we go.
And we rock. Yep. But I suppose, Evil, on that note, we should probably get going, because after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Not every movie needs a post-credit scene.